welcome to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin, your destination for learning classic rock and pop songs on this great little 8-string instrument. And, well, I can't think of a more classic pop song from the 1980s than The Law's There She Goes, another one-hit wonder. An amazing one-hit wonder when you think about it, because it's ended up in various movies and TV shows over the years, but really it was the only song that the Laws were known for. Their first and only album came out around 1988. They did have a couple of other cool songs on that album, though. You should check it out. It's a really good album. But this song was really their only hit, a one-hit wonder, but a really fun song to play on the mandolin, and quite tricky, actually, to play on the mandolin in terms of that opening lick. I will show you that in a few minutes. But first, before we dive into the lesson, if you're new here and have not yet subscribed, please hit that little red subscriber button down there in the lower right corner. It really helps us to continue producing videos like this one for you on RPM. If you are already a subscriber or regular viewer of this channel, thank you very much for your continued support. But if you'd like to support us even more, please consider becoming a patron or a sponsor of RPM, and you can do so by checking out our Patreon page. The link is down below here. Please check that out. For as low as $2 a month, you can support RPM and gain access to videos over there that will be not shown on this channel. For certain sponsors and VIPs on my Patreon page, I'll be doing some lessons, beginner's lessons and advanced lessons on the mandolin. Also some product reviews and certain other things over there that will be exclusive to my Patreon page. So please check that out. Okay, without further waiting, let's take a look at The Law's There She Goes on RPM. Okay, we're getting set to zoom in here on The Law's There She Goes, a really fun song to play on the mando, and, well, a lot of open chords, once again, utilized in this song, so don't be afraid to use those open chords and let your strings ring out. That's one hallmark, I think, of pop songs played on the mando, is that they are more apt to play open chords and allowing the strings to ring out more than perhaps in other genres of mandolin music. So use those open chords in this song as well. I think they sound the best and closest to the original version of this song. What is that opening lick? Well, it goes like this. Right? Okay, so what am I doing there? Well, first I want to point out that I'm doing something on the mandolin that, to me, replicates the sound of the guitar the closest. On the guitar, on the original version, the guitar player lets a couple of strings ring out together, like double stops. And to do that on the mandolin here for this song is a little bit tricky. I'll show you what I mean, but I think it sounds the best if you can do it like that, all right? So that opening lick starts off with a G to a higher G, to an octave G there. So open G to the G here at the 5th fret of the D string, right? So, and then immediately catch this note here, which is a D, and this is the 7th fret of the G string. So like that, and then right above it is the 7th fret of this string, the D string, right? So you want to, like that. That's the first part of the lick. All right, so what did I do there? Well, I just shifted that finger down just 1 fret from the 5th to the 4th fret of the D, but I maintained that D note there as sort of a pedal tone for this part of the riff. So once again, right, so the 4th and then back to the 5th again. And all the while, as I said, hitting that D note here, 7th fret of the G string. So one more time, the first part of the lick. Okay, so that's pretty cool. All right, so you can get that. That's the easy part of this lick, actually. Okay, and then from there, you want to replicate a D sus2 chord from the guitar, or a D9 chord, either or. The 9, or the 2, is an E note. All right, so the guitarist in The Laws, when he's playing that opening lick, he's leaving the E string open on a guitar D chord, and they ring out together as I said before, as a double stop. So how do you do that on the mandolin? Well, it's a bit tricky. And to be honest with you, I find this quite tough to play. You're really going to have to practice this. So you're going... So... Okay, so what is that? Well, that's the 9th fret here of the G string, which is actually your E note. And then to get the D note, I leave that D string open. So I'm playing 9th fret here to open. And I'm using all downstrokes here. Perhaps, you know, maybe you're better at alternate picking than I am, and you can alternate pick this. But for me, it works best if I just catch it like that. And it is really tricky. You're going to have to practice this, I think, if you're a beginner or intermediate player, in order to be able to get. See, even there, I struggled a little bit with it. So you want to try to practice that in the context of this lick. You see? Now you could play that lick down here, right? 2nd fret of the D string is an E note and then open D. But you can hear it just sounds kind of hollow, right? So that doesn't really work for me. It's a little too hollow. You need to have that double stop of both of those notes ringing out. Now you could also play this one other way, and this is by harmonizing one of the notes in that lick. Instead of playing that final D to E pattern, or E to D, you could go E to G, and the G is also obviously in the D scale, so you could do this. Right? And there I'm just hitting the E note, 2nd fret of the D string, and then the open G down there. And again, that allows you to create a bit of a double stop sound. I think that sounds better actually than that. That just sounds too hollow and harsh, right? So either do this, E to D, or E to G. See, that works as well for this song, for the opening and main lick throughout this song. All right, what are the chords to this song? Well, they're pretty simple open chords, as I said here: G, D, C, D, D. So G to D to C, and then you want to hit that D chord again by going, right? Right, like that. So the strumming pattern for you is... So G, D, C, and then nice little pickup chord back to the G. Now on the guitar, that pickup chord that they actually play is a D with an F sharp in the bass. All right, so I can mimic that here or replicate that on the mandolin somewhat, but not by putting the F sharp in the bass. Instead, I put the F sharp up here at the top, the highest note, right? You can get an F sharp right there, 2nd fret of your E string. And to me, that sounds like the actual chord, the D with an F sharp in the bass that's played for that pickup note or that pickup chord in the original version. You could also do it here. And that sounds okay. That's an F sharp note with an A there. But to me, it doesn't really sound as good as... Right? I think that sounds better. Okay, so after doing this part, a few times, you go to an A minor, to a G, to a C. A minor to a G, to a C. Like that. So A minor, G, C, A minor, G, C, and then stay on the C for a few beats before you go to that D again. And your pickup is back into the G pattern once again. All right, so the entire verse part goes like this. And those are the verse chords for you. Okay, I've shown you the verse chords, and the verse chords are basically the same as in the chorus parts. There she goes again, same chords. Then we get to, well, the main riff again one time, right? And that's played a few times. That's played twice, actually, before a little guitar solo comes in. And what are the guitar solo notes there? Well, something similar to what I played at the beginning of this video. It's not the exact notes from the song, but it's pretty close, and you can replicate the sound, or you can get close to the sound that the guitar player is doing by playing these notes. Right, so what are those notes? Well, you've got a D, E, G, A. So D, then 2nd fret, 5th fret, and then open A. And then I just to the G, and then hit that F sharp. Then you can hit that F sharp with the open A. Okay, and the bridge part is just an E chord. There she goes, E chord to a C chord, and then she calls my name part. She calls my name, right? So that goes from the E minor to a C, then you hit the C chord a couple times, to the D to the G, and then D to C. So once again, so that's C, D, G, D, C, 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 D, G, D, C, and then there's another A minor part. And then, once they hit that A minor chord, they throw in another little E minor very quickly before they go back to the C, and then finally, there she goes, right, that part there. So one more time through that E minor part to C, there she goes, she calls my name. Right? And A minor, E minor, A minor to C, and then you're back into the main part again. There she goes. All right, so that's the bridge part that leads into the final part of the song, which just repeats your main chords again. And that's There She Goes by The Laws, another great one-hit wonder from the 1980s. I know you'll have fun playing that one. Thanks very much for tuning in to Rock and Pop Mandolin once again. And again, if you're new, please don't forget to hit that little subscriber button down there in the lower right corner. If you are already a member, thank you very much for your continued support. And please check out our Patreon page if you think you might want to support us a little more. I'm glad you are enjoying all of these lessons on this channel. My name is Mike DeJong. Thanks very much for tuning in to RPM.